On this week's episode of The Wealth Cafe, I am joined by Ilissa from Ilissa and Co., and we are breaking down the process of heart healing and understanding your money story. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Wealth Cafe. And today is such a special day here. We have our first ever guest, and I'm sure it will not be the last time she is here. I have had the pleasure of working with Ilissa now for almost 2 years, over 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So most important question, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. Coffee or tea?
I am team refresher.
Okay, okay. This is good. We need Starbucks to sponsor this, so that's good. Well, I'm team coffee, so cheers
Nice.
to your refresher.
Cheers.
Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for you to be able to share all of the amazing things that you are doing. So can you start off, just give us the quick intro about who you are, Ilissa and Co. And also I'll tease up, can you also talk a little bit about your book?
Yeah. So I am Illisa Goman. I am the owner of Ilissa and Co., which is it's like a business strategy marketing agency. We have a team of women who work with you to make all of your marketing dreams come true. Social media, graphics, all that kind of stuff. And then on the flip side, I also am a newly certified heart healing practitioner, which is so incredible. It's this like revolutionary healing technique where I help a person basically open their heart to receiving and, breaking down those walls that everyone has built up. And it's incredible. Like I've received sessions myself, and that's kind of what got me into it. Um, and then giving sessions has been incredibly rewarding, for me to see clients just lighten, like their entire self just lightens, and it's amazing. So yeah. And last year I wrote a best-selling book, Now Leaving Numb, about my struggles leaving emotional addiction. And it's been incredible. It was a bestseller and is getting amazing reviews from everyone that's reading it. So
Yeah, I can say I have read the book and I absolutely loved it and loved all the work that you are doing, especially when it comes to heart healing. I did many a session with you and have gone through only a couple boxes, full boxes of tissues during our sessions. But I thought that would also be really cool to talk about today. So, for those of you who don't know, my second book that I am co-authoring is coming out November 14th for pre-sale, and Ilissa is one of the authors contributing and talking all about the heart healing process. And it's interesting because a lot of you listening might be like, okay, what does this have to do with money? And everything, though, comes back to our childhood and different traumas that we've been through in our life, and talking all about your money story. And I think that plays in so well with heart healing. And so I'm curious, and obviously you can't share anyone's personal information, but
yeah,
have you
yeah.
seen money coming up in any of your heart healing sessions? And I'd love to hear kind of what you've seen, especially because I think so many of us, we feel alone in this situation,
Yes.
especially with social media. So I'd love to hear kind of any insights of what you've seen.
Yeah. Well, receiving wealth or success or love, any of that, right, is so tied just to like our core kind of wounds, right? So, I mean, raise your hand if you have thought, like, I'm not enough, right? I'm not enough to be that person, to be that CEO, or I'm not worthy of receiving these things, right? Um, those are the kind of things that everyone carries with us. No matter if you we kind of say like big T trauma or little T trauma, right? Like I have been
Or
through
both.
all of the alphabet of trauma, which you can learn about in Not Living Numb. If it has happened to me. So, it's uh, the process itself, again, is just like it's breaking down those walls. And something I talked about in my chapter, right, is that like I had built up walls so high that I didn't even know they existed, right? Because I couldn't even see the top. Like it just was like, I'm safe, I'm protected here, I will stay small.
In like a little bunker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, in being in this like small safe space, right? you're staying safe and you're staying small, but you're missing out on this entire world, right? And it's so hard because I think so many times too, I don't it's funny because I feel like authenticity is like the buzzword, right?
Mhm.
But like it's true. Like everyone is scared to be their actual authentic self, right? You see like social media is this it's this beautiful place and it's everyone's highlight reel, right? But like you're not seeing the backside and what people have gone through and like what they did to get there and like it's a very interesting dynamic. And I think too, like a lot of the sessions I've been doing with clients, I know a lot of these clients personally, right? And would never have guessed their backstories, like not in a million years. I work with very, very successful people, CEOs of companies and all these, VPs, like and they're like, "Yeah, this was a really terrible thing that happened to me." And you're like, "Oh, like that really like that's heavy to carry." And so when you remove that heaviness, it's letting in all these incredible, incredible things. So,
And it's also something that going back to these like really successful people, it's we don't think that those things exist, right? Like we look at that highlight reel on Instagram and like you don't see that it might have taken this person, 15 times to get out of bed that morning to try and just show you what their life
yeah,
looks like because they feel like they have to and to put on this brave face. And I think life has shifted so much, at least I've noticed it since the pandemic, of where we're willing to share a little more of this and we're willing to actually do the work. And we find that authenticity, it's easier, right? Like
yeah,
it's easier when we do the work and you just feel lighter and free. Like as much as, during our sessions, I would have to take a nap afterwards because it is a lot of emotion coming out of you. But then like
yeah,
in the weeks and the months that followed, it's like, something would happen and I'm like, if that had happened, a year ago, that would have knocked me down and would have taken how
yeah,
many days out of my business or would have, taken time away from my family. But then I'm sitting here being like, no, okay, we are worthy, we are enough, we can keep going and just keep building.
yeah, yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, you know, uh, like I'm a skeptic of this stuff, right? Like I was like, heart healing, this sounds kind of woo, whatever.
Yeah.
But I did the sessions. One I had done some like recorded ones in a program before, and then I signed up for some one-on-one sessions. And then even just a few weeks ago, I had, and I think you and I might have talked about this previously, but I did a past life session
Mhm.
with one of the lead therapists, Kirsty Wick, and it's something I'm training in a few months, and I'm so excited to start this process. But it literally felt in the session like I was holding a boulder, Caroline. Like I could not move my arms, and then we did this part of the session and it releases all of that. And I literally was like, huh, like what was I carrying all this time? Like it is crazy, to think that. And yeah, it's amazing.
And that impacts us, kind of going back to your money story and
Yeah.
wealth correlation to this. It's like when you're carrying all that around, you're not able to be as successful as work or at work or in your business. You don't feel like you're worthy or enough to charge certain prices or to ask for a certain salary. And especially as women, a lot of men have no problem being like, nope, I'm just gonna go and apply for that job where I only meet 2 out of 10 criteria. And it's like just so much of the wealth gap comes from that. And we
Yeah.
often forget that this is a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and I think something I feel like I say this all the time, is that you can't whitewash your trauma, right? Like if you start a business, all you sign up, all of a sudden, all your Facebook ads, Instagram ads, everything, right, is you have to have great mindset, right? It's all about your mindset. And like, that's such a small piece of the puzzle, right? Like, I worked for years on like what I thought was like oh, it's my mindset. I'm just like not thinking my life rich enough. Like, why can't I do that? Like, I'm working so hard. I'm thinking positively. And it's because of all this other stuff that had happened, right? Like,
That's
you have
deeper
to
down.
do,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do the healing work, the actual, healing of your past stuff. And the thing is, right, is like, I think too, a common misconception is that healing work has to be really, really heavy work, right? Like, it's gonna take a long time, and like, that's the like, this is why I adore heart healing sessions so much, is that you can get so much change in one session, which is like maybe a little over an hour. Like, it's such an easy process um to deal with stuff. And it's just, I cannot say enough about it.
And it's also interesting too because so just for anyone who doesn't know, heart healing, you're at least for me, it was almost
Yeah.
you're in this like I hate the term hypnotic because it sounds very woo.
Yeah.
But I think
It's
it's
a
more of
deep
like
meditative state. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah.
the better way to describe it. And like for me, it was like you're not asleep, but it's you're in this like you're digging
Yeah.
your subconscious. And for me, it's slowing down, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm such a busy, fast-paced person. I live outside of New York City. It is like go, 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 go. And
Yeah.
this forced me to like stop and slow
Yeah.
down. And it was that deep meditative state. And it causes you to look at things that you probably wouldn't have otherwise. And you're like, oh, that's where that come from, like and then you
Yeah.
start putting all these other different little pieces together about, like, your money story, your why you think about the world the way you do, and you can then decide, "Do I wanna keep living this way?" So I just wanted to give that clarification too about heart healing,
Yeah.
and also say that, like, so much happens in the hour, and then I have, like, these little pop-ups every now and then, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I do this because of X, Y, and Z," and, like, it all just comes together, which is
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
and
It
it's
makes you
nice
more
and
mindful,
yeah.
right? And I think too, um, like, healing is never like a one and done process, right?
I
It's not
wish.
like I went on this healing journey, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yep.
I've been on a healing journey for 8 years now. Like, it's gotten way, way easier now. But there's always new stuff coming up, right? But when you are a healed person and coming from this like healed space, you're able to deal with things as they come, right? And it's a lot easier to trust yourself and trust the universe and like know that you're in charge of all these things. These are, choices that you can make. That life is not happening to you. Like, you are in charge of the show. So,
Which a lot of us, I think, especially as we're, a lot of people who watch this, they are really busy, women and their husbands and
yeah.
spouses and other, they're ambitious people, right? They are go, go,
Yeah.
go. They have families and everything is going on. And so you know, is heart healing something where you can just do one session? Do you see people doing all of them? Like, I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about
Yeah.
you and your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, so all of my clients start off with their enoughness wound, right? Because we all have it. It's a
This
nice,
one wrecked me,
easy,
so
yeah, a nice, easy place to start.
yeah, yeah.
And so everyone kind of starts there, and then you have the option to go further, right? I just got certified in rapid heart healing, which is an emotional addiction technique.
Mm.
So you can do sessions around that. And then there's also like your whole heart journey, right? Which is dealing with like four deep core wounds that we all deal with. And we work in those ways. And then there's also stuff like if you own a business, we can like I work with people to build your strategy and your business around what your like amazing self is about, right?
Rather than ignoring it and just pushing it down like so many
Yes.
try to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And I will totally own, my own magic here because like, like I said all the time, like I see people on a different level. And I didn't know this about myself for a long time. Like I'm just very intuitive. I'm an empath. Like I
Mhm.
get people at this like core level. And when I work with business owners, I immediately am like, no, you're doing that because you think you should be doing that, not because you actually want to be doing that. Right. And that's your
Raise your
resistance.
hand if that's ever been your
Right. Yeah.
situation.
like, stop doing that thing and do what you actually want to do. And that's where you're gonna find success. And a lot of times, like, it's not big leaps, right? And like I've been working with people on this kind of like surface level for a long time, right? Of like the graphic design and the business work and like all that stuff. And then when I was writing Now Leaving Numb, I realized that. And that's why I got into heart healing was like, I want to work on this like deeper soul level, with people. So, moving into that space has been incredible. And it was terrifying. Like I was like, th- I- what am I doing? Like, this gonna be my downfall? Like, oh gosh. And here it is. Like, it's all it's all coming together and it's incredible. So yeah, you just gotta take the leap. Take the
That's
leap.
amazing. That's amazing, and I apologize, my Alexa decided to join the conversation there for a second. She also wants to do some heart healing. Um, no, and it's true, right? We ignore so much of this, and so I encourage anybody who is listening in on this, we will be including all of Alyssa's information in here. Do just even do one session because, I kept going and doing more of them, which I'm so thankful for, but even just after the one, I was amazed. And so that's why, I also know Alyssa's a fabulous person, so that's why she is here and talking about this. And you might be surprised in what comes up with your family, your money, your career, like all of these things that start to piece together. I'm still reflecting back on so much of it and journal about it and think, okay, wow, even this 1 hour session, has all these different ripple effects, and the changes I've seen has been incredible. So I'm also thankful for you that you did this journey and the work so that now I selfishly and everyone else can benefit from it.
Yes.
I also too, before we wrap this up, I have two final questions for you. The first of which is, can you share a little bit more? I've been very fortunate to have an inside look into what Ilissa is building and launching coming this September. Could you share a little bit more about that and give people a little first sneak peek teaser here?
Yes. So the Now Leaving Numb Soul Tide Society is launching, and I am so excited because it really ties in like that we just talked about. Like healing doesn't have to be heavy, right? It's kind of I don't like saying it's a micro membership because it's like such incredible content inside. You get
Yeah.
recorded heart healing work. There's like a monthly lesson, and then we do a really fun dinner party every month where we're gonna be like having cocktails and making food and doing some really cool stuff. And I wanted this to be again, like, it doesn't have to be heavy. I don't want people to feel like, "Oh gosh, I have to dedicate, hours and hours and hours every month to this." Like, it's easy, right? I want you to feel ease and that you're worthy of it and, can do the work. And I'm so excited about it.
Yeah. I also think it's really cool that you're bringing in I'm a beach lover myself, and so bringing in like
Yeah.
the ocean and the healing aspects of that just with the branding you did. And it to me, it's almost like I always think when I go to the beach for the day and as a Jersey Shore goer, I always come back refreshed. And so that's kind of what I
Yeah.
think of in the healing journey. It's that you coming back refreshed and renewed. And
Yeah.
sometimes you might find a different part of yourself on the other side of this. So I am
Yeah.
so excited for this coming September. Thank you for sharing that first look. And the final
Yeah.
question I have for you, what is one thing, small bite size, that you do in your life that makes you feel wealthy? Just an
Great
easy
question.
question.
Great question. Surprise. um, I would say, I indulge myself in like just things where I'm like, I really love that and I want to try, right? Whether that is food, like I am always up for a good meal that is like, I don't care if it's a couple $100. I'm like, that food was incredible, right? Or I just splurged on getting myself a hot tub because I was like, you know what? I am a water
Whoa.
girl. I know I am a water girl and I am in that thing all the time, right? I'm like, I want to think and give myself space. Like, I'm not one to like sit in the chair and like meditate. Like, I can't, I just ADHD, I don't know what it is. Like, I can't do it.
Like, I need the bubbles, I need motion
It's so
around me.
hard.
This is
So I'm like, I'm just out there chilling in the hot tub.
also in nature too, right? Which I think is very healing and renewing is like
Yes.
out in nature and in the world is
Yeah. 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 And so like I try and do things to just like treat myself in a good, like fulfilling, deep way. And I think that is like the best, right? Like, yeah. And it's, and I'm still guilty of like random $100 Target crap stuff, right?
all right.
Target shopping trips. Fill up the basket. But yeah, like just I look for ways to really like where I'm like, ah, that just feels really good to me. And
Lean into it.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to wrap it up, number one, thank you for coming on today and being our first guest and
Yeah.
paving the way. And I'm sure we'll have you back. And you can also find Ilissa is going to be in our book Rise and Find, which is going to be on pre-sale November 14th. And Ilissa, if people want to get in contact with you, learn more about heart healing and
Yeah.
all the amazing work that you do, where can they find you?
Yeah. So it's ilissag.com and it's ILISSAG com. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff on there. The membership will be there and there's links to the book on there, all that stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
highly
I look
recommend the
forward
book.
to meeting everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of The Wealth Cafe. Looking to learn more about financial planning and wealth management? Visit tanisfingroup.com to apply for an introductory call today. Check us out on YouTube and LinkedIn for weekly episodes of The Wealth Cafe, and be sure to subscribe for more finance-related content and shots of espresso.